Hi there, I'm Greg with StartingYourBusiness.com, and I have over 22 years of experience helping entrepreneurs make informed decisions to start their businesses. And today I want to talk to you about a common business structure that is used by many owners, which is called the sole proprietorship. And if you're ready to embark on your entrepreneurial journey but are feeling a little overwhelmed by terms like sole proprietorship and limited liability company, don't worry, you're not alone. Many aspiring business owners before you have been in your shoes, and they were able to make it through, and so will you. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will have a good understanding of what a sole proprietorship is, whether it's right for you, and get some of your questions answered. I'll get into some specifics in a bit, but to help explain the sole proprietorship a little better, let me tell you about a business owner that I worked with named Maya who wanted to start her business. And Maya had been passionate about art since she was a little girl, and she dreamed of leaving her stressful job as a nurse just so she could make her art. And she had done a few pieces on the side over the years, and she knew her art would sell. But like so many aspiring entrepreneurs, she was a bit intimidated by the complexities of officially starting a business to see if she could make enough money to leave her job. And after some discussion about her business and goals, Maya decided that the sole proprietorship was the perfect solution for her, as it allowed her to focus on her passion without getting too burdened with the paperwork. And I'll finish the story in a bit and explain why she chose the sole proprietorship, but first let's talk more about the sole proprietorship structure. And in simple terms, a sole proprietorship is a type of business structure where the owner and the business are considered as one legal entity. It's the most straightforward and simple way to run a business, and it's especially good for those who are just dipping their toes in the world of business and have minimal liability concerns. As a sole proprietor, you can picture yourself as the sole captain of your ship, making all the decisions and reaping all the rewards, and that's the essence of a sole proprietorship. It's a business owned and operated by an individual who takes on all the responsibilities and enjoys, in most cases, complete control. But why choose a sole proprietorship? Well, for starters, there's significantly less paperwork and bureaucracy, making it the easiest entity to set up and maintain. Plus, you have the full control of your business as there are no investors or partners. So far, so good, right? Well, except it's not all smooth sailing because a sole proprietorship does come with a few downsides, most notably the unlimited personal liability. And since the business and the owner are the same legally, if the business is sued, the business owner's personal assets will be at risk. And because of that, the sole proprietorship isn't the right choice for everybody. So now that we know more about the sole proprietorship, how do you go about registering one? And the process is surprisingly simple. Since a sole proprietorship isn't a formal legal entity at all, so there's nobody to register with, unlike a corporation or LLC, which gets registered with a state agency. Depending on your state, you may need to register the business name and then obtain any necessary business license, like any other business structure would, but that's about it. The name registration process is different in all states, but it's actually pretty easy to do, and to help, I have guides on how to do this in every state. Now, as a sole proprietor, you might wonder if you need an EIN, which is short for Employer Identification Number. And the EIN is a number that is assigned to a business by the IRS, kind of like a social security number for a business. Only certain entities are required to get one, so if you are a sole proprietor without employees, you'll just use your social security number instead. And speaking of taxes, how do sole proprietors handle them? And as a self-employed individual, at the end of the year, you'll file an annual return, which is the IRS Schedule C form, and pay self-employment tax in addition to your personal income taxes. While managing taxes might sound a bit overwhelming, it is worth noting that as a sole proprietor, you still have the same power to deduct business expenses to reduce your taxable income, just like any other entity. Now let's talk about what types of businesses the sole proprietorship is good for. And while I'm not an attorney, nor do I know what risks your business has or the amount of risk you're comfortable with, in general, sole proprietorships are normally ideal for businesses like, say, freelance services, home-based businesses, and small-scale operations that have low liability risks. You may like the sound of the ease of startup with the sole proprietorship, but you could still be a little worried about your business and personal assets being tied together, which brings me to another business structure called the Limited Liability Company, or LLC. And an LLC is a legal entity that is separate from its owners, who are called members. This structure provides personal asset protection for its members, meaning that their personal assets are not typically at risk should the business face legal issues. Now, an LLC can be set up for any type of business, but in my opinion are usually best suited for businesses with higher profits or liability risks, such as maybe a product-based business, businesses where customers come to your location, a business with employees that could do something that harm a customer, etc. They can also be a good choice for businesses looking to attract investors, since the LLC structure allows for more flexibility in ownership and management. The LLC also offers the most flexibility in how the business is taxed, but it normally requires a business to be making a profit of at least $40,000 or so before being able to enjoy lower taxes. Now, getting back to Maya, what was it that stuck out to her when making this decision? Well, in her case, since she was going to be starting off by painting from home and selling her artwork at galleries and shows, the likelihood of being sued by a customer was pretty minimal. What's really cool about her story, though, is that after almost 2 years, she had made quite a name for herself, and she was able to leave her job and even make twice what she made as a nurse. Plus, now she really loved what she was doing. Now, if she were going to be making the choice to open, let's say, a art studio where people were coming into her building, she may have been better off with the liability protection of the LLC. But at this beginning stage of her business, the sole proprietorship was the perfect start for her. So should you opt for a sole proprietorship or an LLC? And again, I'm not an attorney. I don't know anything about your business either. So if you aren't sure, I do recommend researching a bit more over at startingyourbusiness.com or talking with a legal professional. But when I've advised clients who are making this decision, I recommend that they first look at the size and scope of their business. If you're starting small, a sole proprietorship might be the perfect fit. And maybe you are worried that you don't want to stay small. You're starting off and you're worried that by picking the sole proprietorship, you are locked into your choice forever. And the good news here is that if your business grows or you just change your mind, you can transition from a sole proprietorship to an LLC later. And knowing this has helped relieve so many first-time business owners as they're really worried about making a mistake when getting started. Knowing that they have options takes the stress off so they can finally move forward with getting their business launched. And what's even more interesting about her story about Maya, she actually did this because as her business and profits grew, her accountant recommended moving from a sole proprietorship and then forming an LLC so she could elect that S corporation tax election because it would save her a considerable amount of money on her taxes. Well, that wraps up this lesson about the sole proprietorship. Thanks for joining today. I hope I answered your questions on the sole proprietorship. Let me know if you have any more questions or just are looking for some more guidance on business structures in the comments. Also, if you found this video helpful, would you consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribe to stay updated on our latest content? And remember, I love to see your thoughts and questions, so please drop them in the comments section below and I will answer them. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.